You're listening to Crystal and Emily on Love Your Shelf, the best librarian podcast in the extensive and highly competitive field of librarian podcasts. Hello.
Hello.
Here we are back again with, what is this?
Oh, yeah. What
Love Your Shelf. And we love it.
Love Your Shelf. I was afraid I just giggled loudly through your intro. So
You did. You stepped on my intro. And you did it again. This is not going to become a pattern.
I'll do some tee-hees over here quietly. We know I can't do that.
No, we know you
It's
can't.
impossible.
Well, we've got lots of books to talk about today. A few things that we're watching.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that was just one of the worst things I've read ever.
We love
Just
the good
ever.
and the bad.
Yeah, ever.
I'm
I wanna
excited.
say. So we'll wrap up with that one. We'll keep that for the end, maybe.
Okay. That'll be
The
our
end of the books.
ugly gym at the end.
Yes. It's not a gem. It's an ugly, dirty rock.
Okay.
Of a book.
It was never a gem.
No gems.
Okay.
Clump of mud.
I was going to say, I have a sister who loves rocks, so if
Rocks
she
are beautiful.
ever listened to this,
Yeah.
that's my jab at her real quick.
Yeah.
She never listens to this, but if she did, she'd be like, oh, a rock is beautiful.
Exactly.
So, dirt, clump of mud.
Clump of mud.
Okay.
So, but before that, there were some good ones.
Nice.
Good recommendations.
Hit me.
Including The Wilder Women by Ruth Emmie Lang, which is a recent book. And in this, the Wilder women are Nora Wilder and her two daughters. The mother, Nora, leaves her daughters when they're teenagers.
Cool.
They're
Perfect.
several years apart.
Perfect time to leave your children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's not going to result in any kind of trauma.
No.
And so the older daughter is kind of old enough to be on her own when the mother leaves, but the younger daughter ends up going to a foster family. Several years later, the younger daughter decides she needs to find her mother. For several reasons. She's just gotten to the age where this is what she wants to do.
Curiosity alone.
And so they go on, they don't know anything about what happened to her. She just walked out the door one day. And there's some magic involved.
I love some unexpected magic.
Yes. And it doesn't start off that way. It's definitely grounded in reality.
Yeah.
In a real story. But there's just extra special things.
I really do love that when that happens. Because it always, I don't know, it makes you as the reader, viewer kind of ask man, this could be somebody's crazy and this isn't really happening. There are just so many levels as to
it's very
where
mysterious
that could go. Yeah,
as it
I love
develops. Yeah. Because they both of the daughters and the mom had different things that were going on with them. And it's kind of told from the perspective of the two daughters. And it goes back and forth. And they have different problems and different abilities and different things. And they don't really talk about it as though it's like one of the daughters tries to negate any of that.
Yeah.
That kind of the magic part of her. And so, there's definitely lots of family conflict, mystery, drama, some romance thrown in there.
With a hint of magic.
With a little magic.
I like that. I think all of those, all of those little pieces sound like a good story.
Yeah, and it's not something I probably would have picked up, but it came highly recommended. And then I liked it enough that I read a previous book by the same author.
Nice.
Called Beasts of Extraordinary Circumstance. And this one, at the center of that story, is a young boy who grows into a man. And the timeline kind of skips all over. It goes forward into the future and then back to the his origin story. And the origin is that he lived with wolves.
Oh,
Yes.
like a raised by wolves situation.
A little bit, yeah.
Classic. Tale as old as time.
Of course. Apparently that happens a lot.
Because we hear that story
so many stories about that. And I recently had talked about a book that I read about wolves. Mm-hmm. This is very different. That one, while it was fiction, Once We Were Wolves was that title.
Yes.
That one was sort of did try to talk about actual, like the way scientists and researchers would deal with wolves, which is not in a real personal way.
Right.
This book is much more along the magical realism side, where it's just it's actually kind of like a Forrest Gump kind of thing, where this central character is kind of traveling around, and he's more complicated and more like he's a very intelligent character, and
which, let me just say, that alone is fantastical to me. I mean, just the idea of, I mean, it's very Jungle Book, the idea of being raised by wolves and still, I don't know, being a capable person.
Yes. Well, he does venture out into society.
Okay. And
as a child, as an older child.
Yeah. Okay.
Put it that way.
Okay.
Don't want to give away too much. But when we're introduced to the character, he has been, he had obviously parents.
Yeah.
But lost them when he was very young. And somehow, winds up in the woods with these wolves. And so he has enough money for a while to send to the local butcher and ask for mass quantities of meat to feed his wolf pack because the hunting is sparse.
Oh.
And so the barber
I was like, when
he also needs a barber.
Did I fall asleep for a second?
I did, apparently.
I'm sure he does need a barber, let's be honest.
I don't know. All of those, the butcher, barber, grocer, they all kind of are mixed up for me.
Yeah.
So, no, the butcher sends his daughter, who's about the same age as this boy, to deliver the meat. And her mother has passed away, so she and the father are kind of going through the motions, and he doesn't realize at the time, maybe I shouldn't send my young daughter into the woods with a pile of meat for somebody.
Yeah, this wild kid who's about her age and is also
he doesn't know that it's a kid. He doesn't know that the kid doesn't have a house. He just knows that
he just thinks he's a kid.
Yeah. No, he thinks it's just a person, a man.
Okay.
But it's a boy that lives with wolves.
Well, that's even worse if he thinks it's a man. Anyway, okay.
He just knows that he's sending this with his daughter.
Yes.
She spends the whole day out in the woods and becomes friends with this kid.
Okay.
And then we'll let it go from there.
Okay.
But it is definitely sort of warm and, fantastical and a little silly, but there's, it's good.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that sounds great.
It's enjoyable. And then I read another pair of books with also Wilder in the title.
Oh my.
Well, at least one of them, by Rory Power, which I can't say Rory. It's so hard for me to say.
And then with the power.
Rory Power.
Rory Power.
Yeah. Very difficult.
It's a lot.
And so I read Wilder Girls a while back.
So we got the Wilder women, we got the Wilder girls.
Yes.
Checking all our boxes. Wilder babies.
Yeah, that's coming
somewhere
soon.
in there.
Yeah. So Wilder Girls is set in a girls' school on an island.
Okay.
And there's a disease that ravages the island, and they're basically the only ones that are there. So it's not like there's other inhabitants. It's mostly just this school, and
the disease is only on the island,
as far as they know.
Okay.
So
not venturing to find out.
Well, yeah. So you find out more information as the book goes along, but the setup is that they've been quarantined on this island because there's this disease. Not all of them have it, but it's been knocking them out. As the book goes on, and so it follows this group of those girls, and as they kind of try to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
and you find out that there's maybe more to it than what they originally thought. But
what's the age range of the girls?
Adolescent,
okay.
like up through teenagers.
Oh goodness, okay.
And then there's the women. There's the headmistress and some of the teachers are still left.
Okay.
But a lot of them got.
Got.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's very mysterious, very atmospheric. Like you can really feel like what this island is like, and highly recommend.
Cool.
Then she also wrote "Burn Our Bodies Down," which is a
bleak title.
Very
but
much,
I'm here.
yeah. And so this one is like a sci-fi, but you don't really know exactly where it's going to go from the beginning.
Okay.
So it centers on this mother and daughter. Got another theme going on here. Mm-hmm. And just in time for Mother's Day coming up.
I've had I've been watching and reading a lot of women-themed, things. So hit me.
It's happening. So this pair of mother and daughter, they do not get along. The mother is very cold and reticent, and the daughter just kind of wants to know about her past, and the mother won't tell her about it. And there's no father in the picture. It's just her. And so one day the girl asks her about her grandmother, the mother, and the mother freaks out like she never has before, says, I don't ever want you to say anything about that ever again. You can't ask any questions about that.
That's going to make her be quiet, I'm sure.
Yeah. She'll just be satisfied with that.
She'll forget about it.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's very kind of like a creepy, like they're kind of living in diminished circumstances, we'll put it that way. Mm. And so
diminished.
The girl...
That's a great word for it.
The girl runs away, and she's, an older teenager, so it's not too harrowing, but she runs away to go to this small town where the grandmother supposedly still lives on this farmhouse, and wants to find out about her family.
Cool.
And it is not what you're expecting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the things that I like about this author is that she doesn't tell you everything about a scenario.
Okay.
Like the previous one, I would say the Ruth Emmie Lang from The Wilder Women.
Yeah.
There are interludes where she's just giving you tons of detail about everything that's going on in a given scene. Mm-hmm. And Rory Power does not do that.
Got it.
In fact, sometimes you're very disoriented about what's happening and who's there, and but that is kind of central to what's going on.
Okay, that's cool.
So both very different, even though they're Wilder. They are both definitely recommended.
Great.
And I also read the very slim and concise A Message from Ukraine by Zelensky. Mm-hmm. And it's basically just translations of his major speeches.
Cool.
From several years ago up till now.
Okay.
And if you want to know more about what's going on in Ukraine, that's a good place to start. But also, he's a great speaker. So they're very kind of fiery, uplifting speeches. And another one that I recommend. And it's very short, quick read, if that's your thing.
Cool.
And I think everybody should kind of get the first person
account.
Yeah. Then, kind of like really switching gears, I read Number One is Walking: My Life in Movies and Other Diversions by Steve Martin. And it's...
I've heard of him.
Yeah. And it's illustrated by Harry Bliss.
He's a wild and crazy guy, right?
It's what I hear.
Sorry. I was a little late on that one, but I had to throw it in.
You can't leave those hanging. So he's never written an autobiography.
Interesting.
Before. He's written novels, which are good.
Yeah.
He's written screenplays also. But it is illustrated, And it's very light and I don't know what you would call fluffy. Lots of fluff. And he does give like little, very short vignettes about the movies that he's been in, the actors and people that he's known, directors. And it's like, it's kind of like, oh, you want to know what it's like actually like working with so-and-so. And then he'll give you 2 sentences about it. And then just jumps right on to the next thing.
And he can, because he's Steve Martin.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
And then the last half of the book is just other, as he says, other like random things, kind of amusing
do whatever
things.
you want.
Yeah.
That's funny.
About his friend Harry and his dog. So
I'm here for it. Great.
Yeah. It's a single sitting kind of
flip through,
book snack.
Book snack.
Yeah.
Candy book. That's what one of my Storytime mom calls the. Yeah, she'll let her kids get like at least one candy book. So it's like, get your Barbie book, get your Pokemon book, but then you also have to pick up your Charlotte's Web or your book with substance.
Yes.
Your entree book.
Right. You can read that after reading A Message from Ukraine.
Right. Exactly.
Like that.
I deserve this.
Yeah. Exactly. So I've also read a couple of other nonfiction ones in addition to that. One was Say the Right Thing, How to Talk About Identity, Diversity, and Justice by Kenji Yoshino and David Glasgow.
Cool.
And I thought it was really well put together.
Great.
I thought that the 2 authors were authoritative. They're experts in those fields, but it's not an academic book. It is
great.
It is
all the better, I think, for a book like that.
Yeah, I think it's something that it would be really interesting for parents to read it and then share ideas with their kids. There's sections specifically on different scenarios in which those kinds of issues would pop up. So with children or in the workplace or with your community, whatever.
It doesn't sound like it's forcing anything.
Right.
Sorry.
No, it is, and it's very conversational. Great. Very informal. The authors share their own struggles, their own moments of, when they have failed, or when they have done well in those kind of conversations.
Sure. And I think that it should be conversational. It should be an every man and woman's type of read.
Yes.
It's, again, I don't think anybody should feel intimidated by that conversation or these conversations. That's great.
Yes. And they definitely do try to really run the gamut so that there's something in there for everyone, so that you don't look at it and say, oh, well, I don't have this issue, or I don't have this problem in my workplace.
I'm not surrounded by this, or
even though if you're saying that, maybe you need to look at it a little more closely.
Make sure that's really the case, because it might not be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
Is it the bad one yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
We're coming to that. Then I read Building a Second Brain.
Okay.
A proven method to organize your digital life and unlock your creative potential. Because who doesn't want that?
I mean, all right. Unlocking my brain to make way for the second one.
Right. It's by Tiago Forte.
Great.
Which sounds like a fake name.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a great author name, but if I met that guy in real life, I'd be like, you're fully making that up.
Right.
That's not your name.
Right. But we'll go with him, I guess.
Yeah,
and see, But it actually is. He's very enthusiastic about the topic.
That's step one if you're going to write a book. I mean, come on.
And he also has all kinds of other stuff that he's involved in, all this other research and all the things. But Building a Second Brain is basically just different kinds of methods and techniques, and it's pretty fluid for people who want who have different needs, whatever.
Right.
He does address those kinds of things. But to make it so that you can kind of free up your mind by not constantly being tied to to-do lists and calendars and all of the organization that you need to stay on top of things.
You're right.
And so I really was, I'm usually, I've read a ton of those. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And so I'm really skeptical about how useful they are. But this one is one of the more useful ones I've ever read.
Oh, that's really great.
And it introduced me to an app called Notion, which is a really useful tool. And they're doing lots of stuff all the time, like including AI aspects to it. And basically it lets you kind of create task lists and little databases and stuff, all just for your own personal use. And they have a bunch of people that it's open source, so a bunch of people are developing things for it.
Wow.
So they'll share like their templates for what they have designed, to come up with for how to organize themselves.
Cool. That's useful.
Yeah, and so it's on the web, and then also there's an app for your device, which is kind of scaled down so that you can still access it and add things to it, but it's, where you can use it as you're working or, doing anything from making recipe lists and grocery lists to, like, one of the things that I thought was really cool, which I'm always trying to do because I hate wasting food and I hate doing that kind of thing. But I'm not good at.
No, me neither. I've never been able to handle that. I remember a friend of mine in college she was out of college, but she was dating this guy who was a little younger than her. And she was describing just like certain things that she noticed he did that kind of marked his immaturity, so to speak. And one of the things she said was like, he'll buy like, he doesn't know how to buy like his like portions of the correct portions for himself at the grocery store. And I was just like, okay, girl. Well, that's me also.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. No, I don't know if that's a mark of immaturity. I think that's just, I don't know, dingbat tendencies. I don't know.
Yeah. It's rough. I've tried lots of different things for that too.
Yeah.
Like there's an app where it just downloads everything that you buy and then you can see what's in your pantry and all that. But anyway, it's too much. But this app has a meal planning section or meal planning template where it's just like you say, like Monday through Sunday, what do you want to eat those days, and then have the ingredients there, and then it will real quickly, it's not importing it just you can just select for grocery shopping for those things. It also has a little AI where you can say, here's what I have, what can I make out of that?
Yeah, that's cool.
And
that's very cool.
It's not 100% unique.
Sure.
But it's just the interface and the way that you use it. For me, I liked better than a lot of the other ones.
That's great. And honestly, as far as I'm concerned, this is what this podcast is for, because I don't want to have to read through the other things. You did it for me. Thank you.
Yes. I have tried
for all of us.
I promise you, any productivity app, I've downloaded it at least once.
Okay.
And whether it's paid, free, whatever, I've looked at it and deemed it unworthy.
Yeah, I saw
in most ways.
I saw an app that was like kids. It was an app for your child with ADHD, and it was how to like keep them on task, and it seemed kind of fun and had games involved and stuff. And I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, if it's that simple, so simple, a child could use it. So I downloaded it, and I instantly was like, okay, no, this is actually for children.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm open.
Speaking of, I also recently downloaded the Headspace app.
I have used Headspace.
What did you think?
Well, I used it for meditation, and I liked it, but I very quickly had to pay for it, and I didn't want to do that. And so I really can't remember. I remember liking the guided meditations, but yeah.
Well, I am struggling with sleep, and so I got it because I wanted to see if there was anything there, because that's the other thing I've downloaded everything of is
all the sleep apps.
All of those kind of things. But I did not like it. I don't know. Yeah, no good.
What did you do? Like, did you do any of the meditations, or is it, because I know you can kind of select what your goals are, right?
I tried all different things.
Okay.
I tried the sleep stuff, and so they had like these sleep casts where it's, soothing sounds with somebody telling you a story or something.
Oh, I have seen that. No, I can't fall asleep like that.
No.
I don't mind a little, I sleep with a sound machine. I like some white noise, but if it sounds like somebody talking to me, I don't know. I feel like I'll start to fall asleep, and then I'll be almost very quickly aware that there's a voice, and it'll kind of jerk me out of sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It reminded me of, as a kid, we had some kind of sound machine or something, or it wasn't a sound machine because that didn't exist when I was a kid. It was a CD or a tape.
Yeah.
Of soothing nature sounds,
Uh-huh.
And one of them was the ocean, and you would just start to go to sleep, and then there'd be like a seagull.
Yes, I hate that. All I want is waves crashing. That's all I want. I want some. So I use like a rain one because it doesn't even sound like rain. It sounds like just white noise. Yeah. But the ocean one, I always have tried it, and then all of a sudden that dang seagull makes his way. I hate it.
And then you're dreaming about wringing the seagull's neck. And
and you're not getting sound sleep. You're getting angry sleep.
Right. So anyway, little aside there.
Yeah.
But Headspace, if it's for you, I need to know what you're finding on it, because I did not.
Well, and again, maybe not for sleep. Again, I used it for meditation, and I did like it for that. But the guy has a soothing, British or Australian voice.
The guy with the Australian accent was better. There was an American guy who I did want to punch.
Yeah, no. I listen to that all day, every day. I don't need another American dude talking to me.
Exactly. Okay. That's exactly, it was a minute and a half into that, and I said, nope.
Absolutely not. You're mansplaining how to go to sleep,
right,
as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. And it was all very simplified. It was take deep breaths and calm your mind or something. And I just thought, this is not
Shut
helpful.
up. How?
Yeah.
I need specific. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no good. But, so, back to building a second brain.
Yes.
I definitely, the book is good. The app, and there are other apps that he recommends as well.
Cool.
There's other stuff
that
you can, connect to all of this. But the Notion app is the one that I really am enjoying. And that brings us, before we go to the things that we're talking about, the things that we've been watching, is the worst book.
The bad book. All right, what is it?
So it's by David Mamet, who's famous playwright, has had movies made out of his plays.
Yes, okay.
I know him from that.
Okay.
I did not know anything about his personal ideas about stuff.
Has he written other books specifically?
No, this is a nonfiction. This seems to be a new foray for him, as far as I know.
And he should stick to what he knows?
He should just stop doing anything at all. Because his book, Recessional, The Death of Free Speech and the Cost of a Free Lunch,
I'm already annoyed.
should have given me an idea.
I'm already annoyed.
I was just curious about what he might say about it. He's a very smart, snappy guy. But he apparently has let his brain rot. And so it was, the first chapter is about how he writes with a fountain pen.
What?
And how he always has, and he goes into excessive detail about fountain pens, where he bought them, what they were replaced with, everything that you could imagine.
Only... I'm sorry.
I know what you were trying to say.
Yes, only a person of this sort thinks it's acceptable and thinks that anyone cares.
Right.
About his fountain pen forays.
Now, it does have a tie-in to the first of his terrible ideas, which is that, everything new is bad and that change is terrible.
Bro,
and
go take a long nap.
It's hard for him. It's hard for him to find replacement cartridges for his fountain pen.
There are all kinds of pens out there. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for you. No one feels sorry for you.
But all of these little, Upper East Side, I want to say, mom and pop shops. There was he's this neighborhood where this pen shop was. Now there's, there were also other specialized, workers that worked there, and they're all moved out, and it just lamenting.
You don't even want these people to go out and find, maybe they're following their dreams. Is that what he's saying?
Well, he can't get his ink anymore at this place.
So that marks the downfall of humanity for him.
It starts. And then it's a landslide from there.
Okay,
all
I have
downhill.
plenty of problems with humanity, but fountain pens is not where it starts.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know. The fact that this guy has a problem with fountain pens might be where it starts.
Yes. And, I get it as where he's...
There are certain aspects or certain... I don't know. Look, I think it's sad that, those mom and pop shops close or whatever, or he...
Well, but they were specializing in things that are no longer needed.
Okay.
So that's also part of it.
Yeah, okay.
And,
I see.
But, specifically, watchmakers or, small, neighborhood versions of those things.
Yeah.
Are no longer really viable, I guess. But...
This is all so specific to him.
Yes. But then he goes on to all other kinds of topics, equally, each one more horrible than the last.
Oh, my goodness.
And I don't even want to get into it. But don't want to ruin anybody's day. Because mine was.
I'm already fired up.
Yeah. I did not reach it. I mean, after a few chapters, I skimmed through the rest.
And it was all more of the same.
Yeah, because I try to be open to people's different ideas about stuff. And so, I knew I wasn't going to agree with him about stuff after the first chapter, but I thought, okay.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't read a lot in this vein.
And this is coming from you and me, two complainers. We love to complain.
Yeah.
And...
But his complaints were the wrong complaints.
Exactly. Well, I'm just saying, I also don't, yell out my complaints for the world. I do it behind closed doors on this podcast. I'm just kidding. But no, I'll whisper something to you, and then I've gotten it out of my system, and I can move on with my day and be a pleasant person.
Yes.
Everyone should have an outlet.
Right.
But don't write a dang book about it.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on from that to more...
I did enjoy complaining about this book.
Yes. And if somebody has, it did enjoy that book, okay. That's all I'll say.
You sounded like you were going to be open for a second there, and you're just like, I can't even do it. Okay.
I'm not going to lie to you. If anything, we will always be honest here.
What you been watching?
Well, so I've seen a couple of movies. We'll start with those.
Okay.
And I watched Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh, Nick loved this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
haven't seen it.
I wouldn't say indifferent, but that's probably the closest feeling that I had.
Yeah.
It was okay. There were fun things about it that I thought were funny.
Yeah.
Things about it I thought were wild.
Yeah.
But I think too often movies that have this particular kind of humor think that a few outrageous acts really kind of carry the whole story.
Yes.
Oh, well, if this guy does this and everybody's going to gasp.
You're going to be sitting on that for 15, 30 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It
didn't work for me in that sense, but Colin Farrell who I normally don't like very much.
I feel like I have started to appreciate him more recently.
He's matured. He's grown out of the bad boy Hollywood thing.
Yeah.
Which is good, because if you're still trying to do that in your 40s, then,
No.
So he's not. But, so he plays this kind of not too bright, kind of mildly charming, but still kind of, not got everything going on.
Okay.
On this small island, and he lives with his sister
in Ireland. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And has this friend, and they meet at the pub every day.
Mad Eye Moody, right?
You're right.
I don't know what I can never remember his name, but it's the guy who plays Mad Eye Moody.
Brian.
Sure.
Something. Yeah. And so they meet at the pub every day, but then when the film starts, one day the friend of Colin Farrell's character says, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't like you. And so, I mean, that's funny. You know, that's a funny premise.
Well, I mean, it's so, like, I just finished with story time, and, like, I probably heard that exact exchange, you know?
We're not friends anymore.
Yeah, and then they're playing together 2 minutes later.
Right. So you don't know, and you never know. That was one of the things I think that made it a little more interesting, or maybe that's why people thought it was more interesting.
Yeah.
Is because you never really find out what happened, why.
What his motivation was.
Except that that character and the Colin Farrell character are so different. The Colin Farrell character is more like a yappy puppy or something, you know?
Yeah.
And the other guy is just
He's the
tired.
old dog. Who's getting his ears chewed by the yappy puppy.
Yeah. And so hijinks ensue, as we say.
Yeah. Nick told me this basically entire movie, like, scene for scene. Because I didn't really have an interest in watching it. But he really liked it.
Yeah. So, if that sounds like a way you want to spend your time...
I think he thought it was really funny. Like, I think he was, I mean, there was one particular thing that I was like, that's not funny at all. But I think overall he thought it was a really funny story.
Yeah.
Like dark funny, not
very darkly.
Not like no one's juggling or whatever.
Right.
No Three Stooges here.
No. And no slapstick.
I like how those are the only two kinds of comedy there are.
Yeah.
Like, dark comedy or the Three Stooges tripping over each other.
That's, definitely two extremes.
Yeah.
And then the other movie that I watched is actually from several years ago. This Is Where I Leave You. It's on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And it is Jason Bateman is the main character. Yeah. And he plays one of several siblings when Jane Fonda is the matriarch. Mm-hmm. And their father has died, so they all come to stay with the mother to sit Shiva, and which is 7 days.
Yes.
So they have to all sort of deal with each other all in one house under one roof for the first time in a long time.
And it's got a pretty all-star cast, yeah.
Yeah, Tina Fey's the sister. Adam Driver is one of the brothers. There's lots of people in this.
I think it's based on a book. I'm almost positive. Okay, I don't know who wrote it, but I'm pretty positive it's based on a book.
Here's where you get all the book information at the library podcast.
We do all kinds of research as librarians. No, just kidding.
But essentially, so the Jason Bateman character has a series of unfortunate events prior to this, and then finds out about this, and he's just a real sad sack who's going through a lot. He's pretty good at playing
a sad sack.
Yeah. It's like this is like the more lighthearted version of him in
Arrested Development.
Oh well,
or anything.
Yeah.
Ozark.
No. Yeah. Ozark. Yes. Oh, no. You know, it was just like everything is terrible.
Again. Yeah, but also he was like that in Arrested Development.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the sibling that's like, not again.
He's definitely always playing the straight man.
He's great at it.
For sure. Yeah. He can do that.
Uh-huh.
In fact, you don't even know if he can smile.
I know. You know? I know. It's so true. You know what a great movie... I'm sorry, I'm going off a little bit. But a Jason Bateman movie that is so good. It's called Bad Words. It came out maybe around the same time as this movie.
Which was 2014.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say 2014-ish. And it's... I haven't seen it since around then. But it's about a kid doing a spelling bee. And he gets involved with this kid. And they become little friends. But it was delightful.
I remember that movie.
Yeah,
it was good.
It was really good. But I think he's kind of a straight man, but then he might turn a little loose. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Loosens up a little bit by the end.
Yeah.
Anyway, great movie.
I think in all of these probably there's those moments for sure. So, watched those movies. And then started some series as well.
Mm-hmm. I finally signed up for Apple TV Plus. Mm-hmm. They're doing like a 3-month trial situation, so I'm doing that. But let's be honest, I'm gonna hold on to it after that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on there.
There is. There are like
we've talked about
several different series that I've at least started.
And so right now is the Big Door Prize.
Yes, we started that one.
Chris O'Dowd is the main character.
So cute. Love him so much.
And he plays a dad who is turning 40 and not having like an exactly midlife crisis, but a mild one. Mm-hmm. He's not like super angsty about it, but he's just, you can see he's thinking about it.
And kind of going through the motions and like we all are, I suppose.
Yeah. But he's still kind of like a quirky, funny, nice guy, you know? Mm-hmm. And,
by the way, I told Nick that I want 33 presents on my next birthday.
Oh.
He turns 40 and his wife gets him 40 presents. They're not all great presents. Some
They're
of
all
them are
small
like
things.
batteries and stuff. Yeah, but I did love that.
Yeah. And there's also funny things like, that scene's super sweet and over the top between the husband and wife. But then the wife and her friend discuss it, and she's like, I did this when we first got together, and now here we are.
Yeah.
And I'm having to do this again.
Yes. And, it must get super old. And they're just like walking through the store, and she's just like, I don't know, should I get these paper clips or whatever? Like,
yeah. So it's funny how it kind of shows all the different dimensions of the interrelationships and stuff.
Yeah.
But so the main thing, the big door prize, is that at this store, and we're back in this magic realism realm, the store, this machine, like a vending machine, pops up.
Yeah.
And it says that it will give you your true life potential.
Yeah.
And it's like a little card.
Like a photo booth kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to put your social security number
Oh my gosh,
in it.
as soon as it said that, because Nick and I were like, I was like, would you do it? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I think I would too. But then it asked, and then you're in there and it asks for your social security and your handprints. I was like, no, that's so terrible.
So terrible. But everybody does it. Everybody in this town. So the main character goes to the shop owner and says, what is this thing? This is like, looks like nothing else in the store.
No.
It's this huge glowing thing. And the guy says, just appeared, and everybody loves it. It's great for business.
So I haven't questioned where it came from.
Yeah.
Big mistake. I mean, I don't even know that yet, but, like, big mistake.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
And and like you said, he gets in there, and it's super sus. Like, we don't know where this came from, but let's give it all of our biometrics. And
But a little card comes out and tells you what your life purpose is. And one of the wife's friends says, like, she gets storyteller. She says, it's as if someone reached into my soul and pulled out this thing that I didn't even know about within me. And so everyone's real excited.
Yes. And so, but the main character is hesitant. He's like, doesn't really want to find out, but kind of wants to know.
Yeah.
He's really torn. He's like losing sleep over it.
Yeah.
And then, then it goes. And then each episode, I think there's only been 3 so far, shows a different character.
Yeah. Would you ever have guessed what his card was going to be?
No.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Nick and I were like, oh, it's going to say this, it's going to say this, it's going to say this. And I loved that it's the one thing.
Right.
You would not
guess. never guess. But, yes. And then there's some other funny things.
Oh, it's
funny
really
ones
funny.
Too. But anyway.
The scene between him and his dad, when his dad tells him to show his potential or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They're in the basement or something. Anyway, it's great. It's really funny too. Like, it's got some great funny moments.
Mm-hmm. And but it's kind of dry too. Mm-hmm. It's not like you said, not slapsticky, not that kind of thing. Not really. But it's a little bit slow.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, and Yellow Jackets has come back for season 2. That is on Hulu. Mm-hmm. And
it is?
Oh no! Well, I watch it through Hulu. It's on.
Is it Stars or Showtime? Okay, Stars. I think it's Stars.
Yeah. Showtime.
One of those.
Anyway,
S's. Yeah.
I watch it through Hulu. That's what I know. Yeah. But we've talked about the first season of it previously, but basically it's based on a girls' soccer team in the 90s that is going to go to the national championships. And they have all their interpersonal issues that all teen girls have.
Real teen
issues. And they get on a plane, and it crashes in the wilderness, and they have to survive.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been so hesitant to watch this show for some reason. I just, for some reason, the idea...
It's dark.
Yeah.
There's not really any... There is actually some levity in it.
That's good.
It goes to like 25 years in the future and to some of the girls who apparently did survive the whole ordeal. But you don't know. It doesn't show everybody that's back in the past section. So you don't know if it's because they didn't survive or we're just not seeing them. So, there's still a lot of mystery there.
Lots of questions.
And there is some magical realism stuff or just magic kind of stuff happening in there as well. Or very super mysterious stuff you don't know what exactly is happening.
I just need to start it when I'm having like an apathetic day, when I'm just kind of like, I'm not going to feel feelings, which doesn't happen to me very often, but
there's some times that it, I could see why for some people it'd be hard to watch.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it goes downhill from there, I would say.
Of course.
Real quick.
Goodness gracious. I mean, I watched Lost, and
this is much darker, grittier.
I was gonna say, like even that
in the snow, in the
yes.
cold.
Oh my God, no! I've also seen Alone. Have you seen that one? The show, it's not Naked and Afraid, but it's one of those kind of shows.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
You're by yourself, and usually I feel like half the time these people are out in like the Canadian wilderness, and where it's very snowy and scary and bears and. No.
Yeah, just not for me. Yeah.
Well, and can I butt in really quickly because I just feel like, again, I've been on this, I've been watching a lot of, woman power shows and really books too, I guess. But, no, I started on Amazon this show, Class of '07, and it takes place on an all-girls school on not an island but like a high sort of mountaintop, and so it's about this class that graduated high school in 2007. It takes place in Australia. I graduated in 2008, so I'm really loving the music, and so these women are around my age, but they come back for their 10-year high school reunion. Meanwhile, the main character has been she was on a reality show, kind of like The Bachelor or Bachelorette, and she was the runner-up girl and gets broken up with live on TV and kind of flips out. And I mean, she ends up making kind of a fool of herself. She keeps saying, I just got a bad edit. It wasn't my fault. I just got a bad edit. But anyway, so she's super embarrassed, and so she goes off to live off-grid for about 6 months. While she's off grid, water starts shooting from the ground. So she's trying to make her way to higher ground, and her old school is the closest access point, safety point for her. And little does she know, her high school reunion is going on at the school. So it's her, what are the odds?
Yeah.
Anyway, so about, in the middle of their reunion, they look outside and everything around them is underwater. And so they're also, again, when you're talking about the Wilder Girls book, all these women are left at their school trying to survive. They don't know what's going on. They've got old sort of, high school teen issues that have now become real women issues that they're trying to work through. And it's funny. It's got some dark comedy. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm just a few episodes in, but it's a good one.
Yeah, it's intriguing. When I saw the ad for it, it did not intrigue me at all.
Me neither. And I don't know. I think I was tired of clicking around and just kind of put it on and kept watching. So I really enjoyed it. The other Amazon show I started, you last week talked about the book, The Power. Mm-hmm. I started the series on Amazon.
I did too.
You did?
Yes.
What did you think?
I love it.
Me too.
It's so good.
Are you caught up?
Yes.
Are they all out, or are they putting them out one at a time?
No, there's 3 episodes.
Okay, then that's what we watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real good.
Yes.
It's, in case you don't remember, last week, Crystal talked about the book, The Power by, do you remember? Sorry to put you on the spot.
I'll think of it.
Okay. Where sort of all of a sudden, teen girls are starting to show signs of this power where they can electrocute. I know they have electricity flowing through them. They all start to get this sort of weird feeling under their collarbone. And some of them seem to be able to control it a little bit more than others. Anyway, I'm really curious to see how it's going to, because I don't want to say anything.
Yes, it's good. And it happens simultaneously, like all over the world.
Yeah.
So you have perspectives of different girls. You're kind of seeing their particular stories.
Yes.
In London, in
Nigeria,
and somewhere else.
Yeah. Toni Collette plays the mayor of Seattle, and her daughter is one of the, oh my gosh, her daughter is one of the one of the girls having these symptoms, but the way the school deals with it, oh, that was so messed up. And I loved when Toni Collette and what's his name, John
Leguizamo.
Oh, I love John Leguizamo. Oh my gosh, he's great. Yeah. And I love his character in this. Yeah, I'm so used to seeing him play kind of a weirdo.
Yeah, it's a departure for him, and I would never have put him and Toni Collette as
me neither, but they have great chemistry, and he's like, he plays this great dad. Like, my first experience with him, I'm pretty sure, was Romeo and Juliet, the 90s Leonardo DiCaprio version. Yeah. And he plays like Mercutio, he plays somebody, and he's Tybalt, yes. Yeah. And he's, real crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone's crazy in that one. But anyway, I'm really liking that one.
Yes. Highly recommend that one. And I think that's all we were going to talk about. Oh, no. Last one. Restaurants at the End of the World, which is on Hulu. And
for real?
It is. Yes.
I'm just kidding.
I'm pretty sure, actually. I don't have any idea. But it's exactly that. It's basically these mostly very tiny little restaurants with, these amazing chefs, but they're just extremely hard to get to. And they're mostly why is this a thing? Right. But the first one, they're up in the mountains, and so it's like basically where this chef lives. And
he's like, I'm not gonna go to where the people are. They're gonna come to me. Yeah, I'm that confident in my abilities.
And the kind of the thread is they all use what they have in that very remote spot.
Yeah, I mean, and that's great. That's a great story, but
you gotta really want to. Is like this Scandinavian one where you're like going across a fjord to get there or something, and they have to have these. You're greeted as you go over on this boat. You're greeted by a person who's there to protect you from the polar bears. They can't.
Oh no!
Yeah, they're the ones that have the guns, I guess. Yeah, so that you don't.
And like, what is a gun against a polar bear anyway? Yeah.
Maybe it's tranquilizers. I don't know what it is.
But even then, do they work immediately? Yeah. Like, does that bear keep running a little bit?
You're right. That's what I'm always worried about.
I know. I'm like,
that's why I make sure that the other person is between
you and the polar bear.
So, goodness. Yeah, and then there's like they're eating lots of reindeer meat or something. Yeah. And
sleeping in like polar bear fat or something.
Yeah, who knows what's going on. So, it's really interesting.
Yes, I'm making
to watch. I just don't know that I need that experience.
Yeah, I'm happy that this show exists so that I can watch it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so this chef that's the host goes to these places and then has several days of like learning about what they're doing and what their processes are, and then helps them prepare this meal for their people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
So that's it. So, that's lots of recommendations for this week. And coming up on Easter. Yeah.
I always say Easters from, what's the Jack Black movie? Nacho Libre. Oh. He says Easters.
I don't know if I ever actually watched that whole movie.
I've never seen the whole thing. I had an ex-boyfriend that quoted it all the time. So that's my foray into Nacho Libre. I do love me some Jack Black, though.
Yes.
I have like kind of a low-key crush on Jack Black because he is so charming and so hilarious.
Yeah.
Jack Black forever. We're going to end on that note.
Yes. We will, actually. And we'll be back in your ears.
Look at you getting it right.
I got it right. In about a week.
About a week. Yeah. Thank you for the flexibility. Jack Black forever. Bye.
Bye.